Greetings, fellow Slayers. Warlock and Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 3 now continues on with the Zeppo. While the Scuba Gang slaughters demons in an underground nest, all Xander manages to do is get himself hurt. Buffy suggests he stay out of the fighting from then on. Joss makes a point to tell him to hang back from the fighting from now on. Xander considers to find his place after his break with Cordelia and the alienation from his friends. The next day at Sunnydale High, when another student throws him a football, Xander misses and hits Jack O'Toole's lunch, resulting in Jack threatening to beat him up. Cordelia, having witnessed the entire event, relishes telling Xander he is useless and the only member of the Scuba Gang who brings nothing to the group, referring to him as the Zeppo. Meanwhile, Joss warns Buffy that the end of the world is near. An order of demons called the Sisterhood of G is planning to reopen the Hellmouth. After a discussion with Oz about what makes him look cool, Xander shows up driving a 1957 Chevrolet Bel Air convertible borrowed from his Uncle Rory. Meeting Buffy and Willow, he says he is now the car guy and looks forward to his new role within the group. He soon finds that instead, he's tasked with nothing more than getting donuts for the rest of the Scooby Gang who are doing research at the school library. While at the espresso pump, Xander encounters Cordelia, who rubs in the fact that all he does now is simple errands. Just then, Lisette starts to flirt with Xander for his car and wants to go for a ride. Xander, eager to try one-upping Cordelia, agrees once he's dropped the donuts off. At the library, Buffy, Will, and Giles are researching. Meanwhile, Oz, in full werewolf form, is freaking out in his cage. Willow thinks it's because he can sense trouble. With the Watcher's accounts refusing to speak to him, Giles leaves to try to contact the spirit guide who exists outside of time, who hopes he will provide information on the Sisterhood of G. At the Bronze that night, Xander is still entertaining Lisette, though she's far more interested in the car than she is in him. Xander meets Angel, who is looking for Buffy to discuss the Sisterhood of G. Angel dismisses Xander's offer to help, telling him it would be safe for Xander to keep out of the way. As he leaves, Lisette still in tow, Xander drives into a parked car. Jack gets out of the car and threatens Xander with Katie, his knife. Just before Jack can do anything to Xander, a cop arrives and erupts. Xander lies to the cop, telling him that the two were just wrestling. Surprised yet grateful, Jack offers to let Xander be his wheelman and drive him, and later Jack's friends, wherever they need to go. Xander says sounds great, then asks about Jack's car. He tells Xander that it isn't his car. Xander asks where they're going, as Jack, Lisette, and Xander get in the car. Xander and Lisette are standing by a gravestone at Westfield Cemetery, while Jack has a spell to raise his friends from the dead. Big Bob breaks out from the ground, ecstatic to be back. Lisette, at first shocked by the situation, realizes that Big Bob is dead, screams and runs away. Xander cries out that he'll call her while Jack and Bob talk. Bob asks how long he'd been down, and Jack tells him it's been 8 months. Jack raises one more friend, Dickie, at the cemetery before Xander spots Giles. Once he's tried to get help from the spirit guides. Desperate to leave Jack and his undead friends behind, he begs to help Giles, but to no avail. Giles tells Xander that he is better out of the way. Jack raises the last dead friend, Parker, before they leave. Buffy visits Willie, only to find that the Sisterhood of G has already visited Willie's bar and thoroughly wrecked it. Willie, who's been beaten up, reveals that the Sisterhood is planning to open the Hellmouth that night. He advises Buffy to find Angel and consider how to spend her last night on Earth. In the library, Werewolf Oz is going crazy, and Giles and Willow are forced to move him to a safer location. Jack and his friends drive around town with Xander, who worries even more as they discuss their mischievous plans. Eventually they decide to bake a cake, which involves getting supplies by robbing the Decker hardware store. While Xander waits for them to get their supplies, he spots Will leaving Uncle Bob's magic cabinet shop. He tries to talk to her, but her mind tells her she prepares for the coming apocalypse. Before she leaves, though, she tells him she loves him. Xander decides it's enough and tries to run off, though Jack and his friends decide to initiate him into their group by killing him. Xander points out that Jack isn't dead, only for Jack to lift his shirt and reveal several bullet holes in his chest. It turns out that Jack's grandfather raised him 10 minutes after Jack was killed in a drive-by shooting. Xander runs and distracts them before jumping in his car and taking off. Jack is friends lament by the fact that not only do they not have wheels, but Xander also took off with their supplies as well. Xander is driving when he comes across Faith, who is fighting off a demon of the Sisterhood. After he rescues her, the two head to the motel room. The Russian battle has Faith riled up, so she seduces Xander and they have sex. Ooh. After it, she kicks him out, clothes in hand, telling him it's great but she's got to shower. Back in the car, he discovers gunpowder, kerosene, and wire, and realizes that Jack and his friend's cake is actually a bomb. Xander drives back to Hardware Store to find Jack and his gang long gone, laden with supplies. He heads to Angel's mansion to find Buffy, where the couple is arguing about their feelings and sacrifice. Realizing it's a bad moment, Xander leaves. Next move is to head to the library to find Giles, but instead he finds the zombies. As Xander drives by, he grabs Parker, holding him and demanding to know where the bomb is located. Parker reveals it's in Sunnydale High's boiler room. Xander tells him he has one more question that he better answer it honestly or he'll be sorry. He starts to ask Parker how to defuse the bomb, but Parker's head suddenly collides with the mailbox, leaving Xander holding onto his corpse body. Xander screams lets the body go, saying he probably should have left out the last part of his speech before speeding up to get to the school. Jack and his remaining gang pursue after Xander's car. In the library, the Hellmouth has been opened and its multi-tentacled spawn has emerged. Buffy, Faith, Willow, Giles, and Angel prepare to fight it, and Xander and zombies run past in the corridor. During the chase, Xander manages to crush Big Bob with the soda machine, and Dickie is ripped apart by the Sisterhood. Xander heads down to the boiler room after the bomb, where he finds Jack. After a brief fight, Xander asks Jack who is more afraid of death. Jack points out he's already dead, but Xander notes that walking around drinking beer with your buddies dead is all different from being blown up and swept up by a janitor dead. When Jack confronts Xander about the possibility of death, he responds, "I like the quiet." With seconds to spare, Jack finally defuses the bomb. Xander tells Jack he doesn't want to see him around school anymore and leaves. Jack promises revenge against Xander the instant his back is turned and opens the different door to leave, where Werewolf Oz jumps and attacks him. The next day, the Scoobies are sitting on a bench and discussing the previous night's battle. They're all bruised and cut up. Buffy's wearing a sling in her arm and Giles has a cast on his left wrist. They mentioned that Angel was knocked out during the fight and Buffy feared he was dead. When Xander stops by, Will comments that he should be glad he wasn't at school last night. He offers the group a snack, and Oz, feeling strangely full, declines. As Xander walks away, he runs to Cordelia, who taunts him again. He smiles and continues past his now confused ex-girlfriend. Wow. So now let's take a look at some continuity surrounding this episode. This is the third apocalypse the Scoobies face directly after Prophecy Girl at Becoming Part 2. The multi-headed demon is the same one that appeared in the library in the Master's Ascension opened the Hellmouth of Prophecy Girl, as Buffy and Willow recall. Just is still reluctant to involve Willow in dangerous magic. At this point, she has made a potion and witch, performed an revoke incantation ritual and passion, and the ritual restoration becoming Part 2. Xander asks Oz if it is hard to play guitar. In his dream of Teacher's Pet, he was playing a guitar solo on stage of the Bronze. Bewitched, bothered, and bewildered, he has an acoustic guitar in his room. Xander loses his virginity to Faith in this episode. He revealed to the Scoobies the consequences, believing to have a connection to Faith, and compared to Anya's more romantic approach in the harsh light of day. Faith will tease him about it in Who Are You? And Empty Places. Xander is the penultimate member of the current Scooby Gang formation to have sex. While Giles is overall implied, Oz established as already having had sex. Cordelia plays it as well in Bad Eggs, and Buffy lost her virginity in Surprise. Willow will lose her virginity in Graduation Day, Part 1. And now let's take a look at a production note. Winnie Dillon, who plays Lisette in this episode, returns as Merlda in the Angel episode There's No Place Like Plitzgrub, or however that's pronounced. So anyway, let's take a look at some pop culture references. Both Xander and Cordelia compare Xander to Jimmy Olsen, the photographer for the Daily Planet, who often tags along with Lois Lane and Clark Kent in the Superman universe. Like Jimmy Olsen, Xander relates to being an unappreciated sidekick without any special powers. Xander mentions Michael Jackson's song Wanting to Be Started in Something, which coincidentally says the title. Cordelia calls Xander the Zeppo and references Zeppo Marx, the straight man among the Marx brothers, and long considered to be the most unexceptional member of the act. When Buffy realizes the Sisterhood of G celebrate victory in battle by eating their foes, she comes to disgust. They can just pour Gatorade on each other? Referencing their tradition in athletic competitions to celebrate by pouring buckets of the beverage over the coach. She assures Bob that he taped every episode of Walker, Texas Ranger during the 8 months Bob was dead. Barker suggests his friends to hang out at a Taco Bell fast food restaurant. When Faith is going into Xander's hotel room, in addition to referring to himself as being up, sexually aroused, he says he's never been up with people before, meaning he's a virgin. Up with People is a Christian musical performance group founded in 1968. Blech. Upon seeing the bomb in the boiler room, Xander says, "Hello, Nasty," which was the name of the Beastie Boys' recently released album of the same name. And now finally, let's take a look at some goofs. In the cavity scene while Xander can hear talking to Oz, the camera pans up from the food being served to momentarily show Xander, Willow, and Buffy sitting together. The food and their seating arrangement are from the episode I Only Have Eyes for You. In the showdown scene with Xander and Jack, the bomb's timer fluctuates. When the camera pans down from Jack's face to the timer, it can be counted down to 10 seconds. In the following cut, the timer then reads 13 seconds. In the next cut, the timer is counted down normally, now it's 7 seconds. Weird. So overall, I think this episode is kind of interesting, and yeah, you do kind of feel bad for Xander a little bit, but hey, at least he got to, get it on with Faith, so there you go. So overall, I give the Zeppo 3 vampire steaks out of 5. Well, anyway, tune in a bit as we take a look at the next episode, Bad Girls. So, until then, here endeth the lesson.